the hunter's first doubt. In the crystalline spires of the Nexus Empire, Venna prowled through the bioorganic corridors of her hunting vessel. Her iridescent scales shifted between deep purple and midnight blue as she moved, a testament to her status as an elite harvester. The ship's walls pulsed with a dim red glow, reflecting her growing hunger. For millennia, her species had evolved beyond physical sustenance, surviving solely on the life force of other beings. Humans, with their uniquely potent energy signatures, had become the most coveted prey in the galaxy. But they were also the most dangerous. Their unpredictable nature had cost many harvesters their lives. Venna's mission was simple: infiltrate an isolated human settlement, harvest a single specimen to study their energy composition, and return with the data. The Empress believed understanding human energy could elevate their species to unprecedented power. Yet, as Venna's ship entered Earth's atmosphere, something went catastrophically wrong. The vessel's biocircuits reacted violently to an unknown energy signature, sending it spiraling toward the surface. Venna barely managed to encase herself in a protective energy cocoon before impact. When she regained consciousness, she found herself in a snow-covered forest, her ship nothing but scattered organic debris. The cold didn't bother her. Harvesters didn't feel temperature, but the damage to her energy reserves from the crash left her dangerously weak. She needed to feed soon, or she would begin to fade. Rising unsteadily, Venna activated her camouflage abilities, her scales shifting to mirror her surroundings. That's when she detected it, a human energy signature approaching. Strong, vibrant, and exactly what she needed to survive. Venna positioned herself behind a tree, preparing to strike. The human's footsteps crunched through the snow, drawing closer. But instead of passing by, the human stopped. "Hello," a male voice called out. "I saw something crash. Is anyone hurt?" Venna froze. This wasn't how humans were supposed to behave. They were supposed to be selfish creatures, caring only for their own survival. Yet this one was actively seeking out potential danger to offer help. "I'm a rescue worker," the voice continued. "If you're injured, I can help." The sincerity in his voice triggered something unfamiliar in Venna: doubt. Her entire life, she'd been taught that humans were nothing but energy sources, barely sentient. But the concern in this human's voice spoke of something more. Weakened and confused, Venna made a decision that would change everything. She stepped out from behind the tree, maintaining her humanoid form but unable to completely hide her alien features, the shimmer of her scales, the subtle glow of her eyes. The human, tall, with dark skin and kind eyes, took a step back in surprise but didn't flee. Instead, he slowly raised his hands to show they were empty. "I'm Marcus," he said calmly, as if meeting alien life forms was an everyday occurrence. "You're hurt." It wasn't a question. Somehow, he could sense her weakened state. Venna swayed slightly, her energy reserves dangerously low. The instinct to feed clawed at her consciousness. One quick strike, and she could absorb his life force, restoring herself completely. "Let me help you," Marcus said, taking a careful step forward. "Whatever you are, whatever brought you here, you don't have to face it alone." The words struck Venna like a physical blow. In her entire existence, no one had ever offered help without expecting energy in return. The Nexus Empire operated on strict laws of energy exchange. Everything had a price. "Why?" she managed to ask, her voice carrying an otherworldly resonance. Marcus smiled, and Venna felt his energy signature pulse with genuine warmth. "Because you need it, that's reason enough." Before Venna could respond, her depleted reserves finally gave out. She collapsed forward, expecting to hit the snow. Instead, strong arms caught her, and for the first time in her life, Venna experienced physical contact that wasn't meant to harm or feed. As consciousness faded, she realized two things. First, she could easily drain this human's life force even in her weakened state. His guard was completely down. Second, and more disturbingly, she didn't want to. The last thing she heard was Marcus calling for help on some communication device, his arms still supporting her protectively. In that moment, everything Venner had been taught about humans began to unravel, replaced by a dangerous new emotion, curiosity. In the depths of space, aboard the massive Nexus Empire mothership, alarms began to blare. The bioorganic computers had detected Venner's crash and subsequent contact with a human. Emergency protocols activated, and a hunting party was dispatched immediately. Their mission was clear: retrieve the compromised harvester and eliminate any humans who had witnessed their existence. But they were about to discover that humans weren't the simple prey they'd always believed them to be, and Venner, their elite hunter, was about to become something unprecedented in their species' history, a protector of the very beings she was born to consume. As Marcus's vehicle sped through the snow-covered landscape with Venner's unconscious form in the back, neither of them realized they were about to spark a chain of events that would challenge the very foundations of two civilizations. The hunter had become vulnerable, and in doing so, had stumbled upon humanity's greatest strength, the capacity for compassion in the face of the unknown. The true hunt was about to begin, but not in the way anyone expected. Awakening to truth. Marcus's cabin sat isolated in the mountains, a perfect sanctuary for an unexpected alien guest. Venner regained consciousness on a worn couch, surrounded by unfamiliar scents and sounds. Her first instinct was to feed, but something stopped her, the memory of kindness freely given. "You're safe," Marcus said from across the room, maintaining a respectful distance. "Though I imagine safe is relative when you wake up in a stranger's home." Venner assessed her situation. Her energy levels had stabilized slightly, though she remained dangerously weak. The cabin's walls held primitive technology, nothing like the bioorganic systems of her people, yet something about the space felt welcoming. "Why haven't you called your authorities?" she asked, her voice adapting to human speech patterns. Marcus shrugged, the gesture fascinating to Venner's alien sensibilities. "Would you prefer I did?" "You should fear me," Venner stated, testing his reaction. "I could kill you without moving from this spot." "Probably," Marcus agreed, surprising her again. He moved to the kitchen, filling a kettle with water. "But you haven't, which makes me think you're not here to hurt anyone." Venner watched him prepare something he called tea, studying his movements. Every action seemed deliberate, yet relaxed. His energy signature remained steady, showing no signs of the fear her species typically inspired in prey. "My people feed on life force," she found herself explaining. "Your kind. Humans are considered the finest source of energy in the galaxy. We hunt you." Marcus paused, then continued preparing the tea. "Yet here you are, having a conversation with me instead of feeding." "I don't understand you," Venner admitted. "In your position, my people would have attempted to drain the enemy's energy immediately." "Good thing I'm not your people then." Marcus brought her a cup of tea, setting it within reach before stepping back. "Try it. It's not life force, but it might help." Venner stared at the steaming liquid. "We don't consume physical sustenance. Humor me." Cautiously, she lifted the cup, mimicking how she'd seen him hold his. The warm ceramic felt strange against her scaled hands. When she sipped the liquid, her sensory organs exploded with new information. "This is pleasant," she admitted, surprised. "See, not everything has to be about survival." Marcus settled into a chair, watching her with genuine curiosity. "Tell me about your people, if you're willing. Why do you hunt us?" Venner found herself explaining the Nexus Empire's history, how they evolved beyond physical forms, learning to subsist on pure energy. How their society stratified based on hunting prowess. How humans, with their uniquely powerful life force, became the most prized prey. "But you're different," Marcus observed. "You question things." "I shouldn't," Venner said softly. "Questioning the hunt is forbidden. My rank as elite harvester was earned through centuries of loyal service." "Centuries?" Marcus leaned forward. "How old are you?" Biomeasurements, approximately 800 years. Marcus whistled. And in all that time, you never wondered if there might be more to life than hunting. The question struck deeper than Venner expected. We are taught that hunting is life, that energy consumption is the highest purpose. Yet here you are, drinking tea with your prey instead of feeding. Marcus smiled. Seems like maybe you've been wondering for a while. Before Venner could respond, her bioorganic sensors flared in warning. Multiple harvester signatures had entered Earth's atmosphere. Her people had noticed her disappearance. They're coming, she said, rising unsteadily. I have to leave. They'll kill you if they find you've helped me. Marcus stood as well. You're too weak to travel. They'll catch you. Better than leading them here. There's another option, Marcus said quietly. Let me help you. Really help you, not just with temporary shelter. Venner stared at him. You would aid the very species that hunts yours. I would aid you, Marcus corrected, because in the few hours I've known you, you've shown more humanity than some humans I know. The irony of his words wasn't lost on Venner. She sensed the hunting party drawing closer, their energy signatures burning with predatory intent. She had moments to decide. They'll brand me a traitor, she warned. Contact with prey is forbidden unless feeding. Marcus grinned. Good thing I got experience helping people start over. But first, we need to get you somewhere safe. As if emphasizing his words, Venner's sensors detected the hunters entering the atmosphere. Their bioships would begin scanning for her energy signature soon. I know a place, Marcus continued, already gathering supplies. An old military bunker, shielded against pretty much everything. It might mask your energy signature. Why risk yourself for me? Venner asked, genuinely puzzled. Marcus paused in his preparations. Because everyone deserves a chance to choose their own path, even ancient alien energy vampires who drink tea. Despite the danger, Venner felt something new stir within her, hope. As she watched Marcus quickly pack essential supplies, she realized she'd discovered something her people had never considered possible, a connection that went beyond mere energy consumption. The hunters were getting closer. Soon, they would begin their systematic search of the area. But for the first time in her centuries-long existence, Venner felt something stronger than the instinct to feed, the desire to protect. As they prepared to leave the cabin, Venner made a decision that would forever change both their species. She would not only resist her hunting instincts, she would actively fight against them. And perhaps in doing so, she might discover what truly made humans so special, not their energy, but their capacity for change. The real test was about to begin, and neither Venner nor Marcus could predict how their choices would reshape the future of two civilizations. The hunter had chosen to protect her prey, and in doing so, had started a revolution she never intended. The predator's choice. The military bunker lay deep beneath a mountain, its walls lined with technology that made Venner's bioorganic sensors blur. Marcus had brought them here through a series of underground tunnels, each step taking them further from the hunting parties searching above. The walls contain a rare mineral, Marcus explained, activating ancient power systems. It interferes with most forms of energy detection. I discovered this place during my time as a geological surveyor. Venner absorbed the information while studying their surroundings. The bunker was crude by her standards, but its shielding properties were undeniable. Already, she could feel her connection to the hunter's shared consciousness fading. You never asked what I do now, Marcus noted, setting up emergency supplies. After being a surveyor, what do you do? I study alternative energy sources, specifically the possibility of consciousness-based energy. He smiled at her surprised expression. Ironic, isn't it? I've spent years theorizing about something your species mastered centuries ago. The implications struck Venner hard. You're researching energy consumption like ours. Not consumption, cooperation. Marcus pulled out a tablet, showing her complex diagrams. I believe consciousness itself is an energy source that could be shared, not drained. But I never had proof it was possible until I met you. What do you mean? Your energy signature, it's changed since you've been here. When I found you, it was purely predatory. Now it's harmonizing, adapting. You're proving my theory that energy doesn't have to be taken, it can be exchanged. Venna contemplated his words. She had noticed the change, but attributed it to weakness. Now she wondered if it was something more fundamental. Their discussion was interrupted by a distant rumbling. The hunters were getting closer, their bioships scanning the mountains systematically. They won't stop, Venna said quietly. The Empire considers human energy too valuable to abandon the hunt. Then we give them a reason to stop. Marcus's voice held determination. Your people feed on energy because they believe they have to. What if we could show them another way? Impossible. The hunger is part of our nature. Is it? Or is it just what you've been taught? Marcus approached her, his energy signature pulsing with conviction. You haven't fed since I found you, yet you're growing stronger, not weaker. Your energy is adapting, harmonizing with Earth's natural frequency. Venna realized he was right. The desperate hunger that had driven her for centuries had changed, becoming something different, something sustainable. Even if you're right, she argued, the Empire won't listen. They've built their entire civilization on energy consumption. Then we make them listen. Marcus activated a complex device he'd brought. This is a prototype energy harmonizer. It's designed to synchronize different forms of energy into a stable pattern. With your help, we might be able to modify it to work with your people's energy signature. Another explosion rocked the bunker. The hunters were using energy pulses to flush out their prey. We don't have time, Venna warned. They're getting closer. Then we work fast. Marcus began adjusting the harmonizer. Your people can sense energy signatures across vast distances, right? What if we could broadcast a harmonized signature? Show them there's another way to exist. It was crazy, impossible, and absolutely human. Yet Venna found herself moving to help him, her centuries of knowledge combining with his innovative theories. As they worked, Venna shared everything she knew about her species' energy consumption, while Marcus adapted his technology to accommodate the new information. Hours passed as explosions drew closer, but neither stopped. Finally, Marcus stepped back from the modified device. It's ready, but there's a catch. What? It needs an energy source powerful enough to broadcast across the entire region. A pure, willingly given source. Venna understood immediately. Your energy. A portion of it, freely shared. Marcus met her gaze steadily. Do you trust me? The question carried weight beyond its simple words. Trust was foreign to her species, unnecessary in a civilization built on consumption and dominance. Another explosion, closer now. The hunters were nearly upon them. Yes, Venna said, surprising herself with the truth of it. I trust you. Marcus smiled and activated the device, placing his hand on its central panel. Energy began flowing, not in the violent rush of feeding, but in a gentle stream that the harmonizer transformed into something entirely new. The effect was immediate. Venna felt the changed energy wash over her, and for the first time in her existence, she experienced true synchronization. Not the temporary satisfaction of feeding, but a lasting harmony that filled every part of her being. Above them, the hunters felt it too. Their bioships faltered as the harmonized energy reached them, offering an alternative to their endless hunger. It's working, Marcus said, though strain showed in his voice. They're responding. Venna placed her hand beside his on the device, adding her own energy to the broadcast. Where their energies met, something new emerged, a perfect synthesis of human vitality and harvester power. The hunters' ships landed around the mountain, drawn by the unprecedented energy signature. When they emerged, they found not prey and predator, but two beings demonstrating a revolutionary truth. Energy freely shared was more powerful than energy forcibly taken. As the harmonized energy continued to pulse outward, Venna realized they had done more than avoid a hunt. They had started a transformation that would reshape both their species. The revolution had begun, not with violence or dominance, but with trust and cooperation, the most human powers of all. When two worlds collide, the harvester ships surrounded the mountain bunker, their bio-organic hulls pulsing with uncertainty. Inside, Venna and Marcus watched through surveillance feeds as dozens of her kind emerged, their iridescent scales reflecting the morning sun. They're confused, Venna observed. The harmonized energy goes against everything they know. Marcus nodded, maintaining his connection to the energy harmonizer. How long before they try to attack? They won't. Not yet. Look. On the screens, the harvesters were forming a circle, their bodies resonating with a new energy pattern. Among them, Venna recognized Supreme Hunter Kraz, her former mentor. His presence meant the Empire took this situation seriously. Your leader? Marcus asked. Worse, the one who taught me to hunt. Venna's scales shifted with anxiety. He'll understand what we've done, what it means for our society. The bunker's communication system crackled to life. Harvester Venna, Kraz's voice filled the room. You have violated our most sacred laws. Explain yourself. Marcus moved to respond, but Venna held up a hand. Let me. She activated the comm system. I've discovered something that changes everything, Supreme Hunter. Our hunger can be satisfied without consumption. Impossible. You've been corrupted by prey. I've been enlightened by them. Venna's voice grew stronger. The human's energy harmonizer proves what some of us have suspected for centuries. Our feeding methods are primitive, inefficient. A ripple of movement passed through the gathered harvesters. Venna knew her words bordered on heresy, but she continued. Look at your own energy signatures. Since being exposed to the harmonized frequency, your hunger has diminished. You're experiencing true satisfaction for the first time. Kraz's response was immediate. A temporary effect. The hunger always returns. Because we never gave ourselves another choice, Venna countered. We built our entire civilization on the assumption that we must consume to survive. What if we were wrong? Marcus stepped forward, his hand still on the harmonizer. Your energy signatures are already adapting. The change is permanent if you allow it to be. Silence filled the communication channel. Then, unexpectedly, another voice joined in, one that made Venna's scales pale. Fascinating. The voice was ancient, resonating with centuries of accumulated energy. Supreme Hunter, stand down. I will handle this personally. The Empress, Venna whispered to Marcus. She never leaves the Empire's core worlds. Through the surveillance feeds, they watched a new ship descend, a massive construct of living metal and crystalline energy conduits. The harvesters prostrated themselves as their ruler emerged. Empress Stara was a being of pure energy barely contained within a crystalline form. Her presence made the harmonizer's readings spike wildly. Venna, child, the Empress's voice filled the bunker. You were always different, always questioning. I should have known you would be the one to find another way. You knew. Venna's confusion was evident. I suspected. Why do you think I allowed your research missions to continue despite your unconventional methods? The Empress approached the bunker's entrance. Come out, both of you. Let us discuss the future of our species. Marcus looked at Venna. Can we trust her? No, Venna said honestly. But she's right about one thing. She could have stopped my missions at any time. She wanted this to happen. Together, they emerged from the bunker, the harmonizer's energy creating a protective field around them. The Empress waited, her crystalline form refracting the morning light. Your human companion's device, she gestured to the harmonizer. It's crude but effective. Our scientists suspected such harmonization was possible, but we lacked the creative insight to achieve it. Because you see humans only as prey, Marcus said boldly. You never considered what they might teach you. The Empress's form shimmed with what might have been amusement. Precisely. Our evolution trapped us in patterns of thinking as rigid as our feeding habits. We needed an outsider's perspective. You're saying you let me discover this. Venna asked incredulously. I let you question. The discovery was your own. The Empress turned to Marcus. And yours, human. Your species continues to surprise us. Perhaps that is why your energy calls to us so strongly, not just its power, but its potential for change. Supreme Hunter Kraz stepped forward. Empress, you cannot seriously consider abandoning our ways. Our ways are killing us, Kraz. The Empress's voice hardened. Each generation of harvesters grows weaker, more dependent on increasingly scarce energy sources. We needed evolution, not stagnation. The truth of her words resonated through the gathered harvesters. Venna could see the realization spreading through their ranks. The hunger that ruled their lives could be transformed. What happens now? Marcus asked, still maintaining the harmonizer's field. The Empress's form stabilized into a more humanoid shape. Now, we learn. Your harmonizer technology, combined with our understanding of energy manipulation, the possibilities are endless. And the hunting, Venna pressed. Will end, the Empress declared. We will establish new protocols for energy sharing, not consumption. Those who wish to maintain the old ways will be given uninhabited regions to hunt non-sentient energy sources. It was more than Venna had dared hope for. Looking at Marcus, she saw her own optimism reflected in his expression. Of course, the Empress continued, we will need teachers, guides to help our people transition, someone who understands both perspectives. Venna understood the offer. You want us to help bridge the gap between our species. Who better? You've already proven it's possible. As the sun rose higher over the mountain, human and harvester stood together, watching the dawn of a new era. The hunger that had driven them for millennia was transforming into something greater, a shared purpose that would reshape both their civilizations. The revolution had succeeded not through force, but through understanding. And in the end, it was humanity's greatest strength, the ability to imagine a better way, that had saved both species from themselves. Seeds of change. 6 months after the standoff at the mountain bunker, the landscape of human-harvester relations had transformed dramatically. The old military bunker had been converted into an unprecedented facility, the first Harmony Center, where both species could learn the art of energy synchronization. Marcus worked at his lab station, fine-tuning the latest version of the harmonizer, while Venna instructed a group of former harvesters. The scene would have been unthinkable half a year ago. Predators learning to coexist with what they once considered prey. The key, Venna explained to her students, is understanding that energy is not a finite resource to be consumed, but a renewable force that grows stronger through sharing. Her students, once elite hunters, watched in fascination as she demonstrated the technique Marcus had taught her, creating a stable energy loop that sustained itself indefinitely. It goes against everything we were taught, one student, Lyra, observed. Yet I haven't felt the hunger in weeks. Marcus approached, carrying new sensor readings. That's because your biological systems are adapting. Your bodies are learning to generate energy rather than just consume it. The change wasn't without its challenges. Some harvesters, particularly the older generation, struggled to accept the new way. A small faction, led by traditionalists like Kraz, had chosen exile rather than adaptation, but they were a minority. Progress report. The Empress's holographic form materialized in the center of the room, her energy signature now permanently harmonized thanks to Marcus's technology. 17 more successful conversions this week, Venna reported. The younger generations are adapting particularly well. And the human side. Marcus pulled up another set of data. Fascinating results. Humans who've undergone harmonic training are showing increased energy awareness. Nothing like harvester abilities, but definitely an evolution. The Empress's form shimmered with satisfaction. The Council will be pleased. They're voting next week on expanding the program globally. This news sent a ripple of excitement through the room. What had started as a desperate experiment was becoming a worldwide initiative, but with expansion came new challenges. There's still resistance, Venna noted. both human and harvester. Not everyone wants change. Change is never easy, the Empress acknowledged. But look at what we've achieved already. She gestured to a wall of monitors showing harmony centers being constructed across the globe. In each location, humans and harvesters work together, learning from each other, growing stronger through cooperation rather than conflict. We've received an interesting proposal, Marcus added, pulling up a new file. The space agency wants to explore combining harmonized energy with their propulsion systems. They believe it could revolutionize space travel. Imagine, Venna mused, our peoples exploring the galaxy together instead of hunting each other across it. The Empress's form brightened. That's exactly the kind of innovation we need. The old council would have rejected such collaboration immediately. Now they're actively seeking it. An alert sounded from Marcus's console. The sensors had detected an approaching ship, one using the old bioorganic technology. Everyone tensed, memories of the hunter ships still fresh. Kraz, Venna identified the energy signature. He's returned. The Supreme Hunter's ship landed outside the facility. When he emerged, however, he wasn't wearing his traditional hunting garb. Instead, he appeared diminished, almost humble. The hunger, he announced without preamble as he entered the facility. It's becoming unbearable. The old ways, they no longer satisfy. Venna approached her former mentor. You've been fighting the change. Your body wants to evolve, but you've been resisting it. Can you help me? The question clearly cost him great pride to ask. Marcus stepped forward, harmonizer in hand. That's why we're here. Everyone deserves a chance to change. As they began working with Kraz, helping him through the challenging process of energy harmonization, Venna reflected on how far they'd come. The very being who had taught her to hunt was now learning from her how not to. The Empress watched the procedure with approval. Every conversion, every small victory, proves what I suspected all along. Our species weren't meant to be predator and prey, but partners in evolution. Later that evening, as the facility quieted for the night, Marcus and Venna stood on the observation deck, watching the stars. Their energy signatures, once so incompatible, now danced together in perfect harmony. Did you ever imagine this? Marcus asked. When you crashed here? I imagined consuming you and returning to my ship, Venna admitted with a small laugh. Instead, you consumed my entire worldview. Funny how life works out. Below them, lights flickered in the valley as human and harvester children played together in the facility's recreation area, their natural energy signatures already synchronized without any technology needed. They're the future, Venna observed. A generation that will never know the hunger, never see each other as prey and predator. They're going to change everything, Marcus agreed. We just have to show them it was possible. As night fell over the Harmony Center, the stars seemed to shine brighter than ever before. Somewhere up there, other civilizations waited to be discovered. But this time, when humanity reached them, they wouldn't be alone. They would go forward together, not as hunter and hunted, but as living proof that evolution didn't always have to follow the path of predator and prey. Sometimes, the greatest growth came not from consuming, but from learning to share. The gift of understanding. 10 years had passed since the day Venna crashed on Earth. The Harmony Centers had spread across the globe and into the stars themselves. On the anniversary of first contact, Marcus and Venna stood aboard the Stellar Harmony, humanity's first joint species starship, watching Earth grow smaller in the viewport. Ready to make history again? Marcus asked, his hair now streaked with gray, but his energy signature as vibrant as ever. Venna's scales shimmered with anticipation. First contact with the Centauri civilization. They're probably expecting another predator species. Instead, they'll meet something entirely new. Marcus gestured to their crew, a seamless blend of humans and harvesters working in perfect synchronization. The ship itself was a testament to their combined evolution. Powered by harmonized energy, it could traverse distances that neither species could have managed alone. The bioorganic systems of the harvesters, merged with human innovation, had created something unprecedented in the galaxy. Ambassador team to the bridge. The announcement echoed through the ship. It was time. As they made their way through the corridors, they passed the ship's nursery where young harvesters and humans played together. Some of the children showed signs of further evolution, humans with slight energy manipulation abilities, harvesters with increased emotional sensitivity. Nature itself seemed to be celebrating their union. "Remember our first conversation?" Venna asked as they entered the bridge. "When I told you I could kill you without moving." Marcus smiled. "And I offered you tea instead of running away. Not my most rational moment." "It was perfectly rational. You saw possibility where others saw threat. That's humanity's gift to the universe." The bridge crew snapped to attention as they entered. Captain Lyra, once Venna's student and now one of the most respected commanders in the Joint Fleet, turned to greet them. "Centauri signals detected," she reported. "They're cautious. Their energy signatures suggest they had negative experiences with spacefaring predator species before." "Then let's show them something new," Marcus said, activating the ship-wide harmonizer. The technology had evolved far beyond his original prototype. Now it could project a field of harmonized energy that encompassed entire star systems, offering protection and peace to those within its range. "Centauri vessel approaching," the sensor officer announced. "They're scanning our energy signatures, and they're confused." "Open a channel," Venna commanded. When the screen activated, it revealed beings of pure light, their forms shifting like aurora borealis. "Greetings." Marcus stepped forward. "We come representing the harmonized alliance of Earth and the Nexus Empire." The Centauri's response came as pulses of light that the ship's systems translated. "Your energy patterns are impossible. Predator and prey signatures in harmony." "Not impossible," Venna joined Marcus. "Simply evolved. We bring an offering of peace and a new way of existence." Over the next hours, they shared their story with the Centauri, the tale of a hunter who learned compassion and a human who saw beyond fear. As they spoke, the Centauri's light forms gradually shifted from defensive patterns to ones of curiosity and hope. "Others must know of this," the Centauri leader declared. "There are dozens of species in hiding, living in fear of energy predators. Your harmony could change everything." "That's why we're here," Marcus explained. "To show the galaxy there's another way. Evolution doesn't have to mean conflict. Sometimes the greatest strength comes from learning to grow together." The Centauri agreed to host the first Interstellar Harmony Summit, where species from across the galaxy could learn the art of energy synchronization. As preparations began, Venna found herself reflecting on how far they'd come. "You're thinking deep thoughts," Marcus observed, finding her later in their quarters. "I was taught that humans were prey, nothing more," she said softly. "Instead, you showed us how to be more than our instincts. You gave us choice. And you showed us that the universe is more wonderful and strange than we imagined," Marcus countered. "That differences don't have to mean division." Their energy signatures merged naturally now, creating patterns of light that danced across the ceiling. Outside their viewport, the Centauri system's 3 suns created a perpetual light show that reminded Venna of the auroras on Earth where their journey began. "The children born now will never know a universe of hunters and prey," she mused. "They'll grow up seeing only possibilities." "That's the real evolution," Marcus agreed. "Not physical changes, but changes in how we see each other, how we choose to grow." As the stellar harmony prepared for the summit, messages poured in from across the galaxy. Species emerging from hiding, predators seeking change, civilizations ready to explore harmony instead of hierarchy. The revolution that began with a crashed ship and an act of kindness had become a galactic renaissance. In the ship's observation dome, humans and harvesters gathered to watch the Centauri sun set, their combined energy creating patterns of light that spoke of infinite possibilities. The hunger that once drove them had transformed into something greater, a shared desire to explore, to understand, to grow. The hunter had learned to nurture, The prey had learned to trust, and together they had discovered something far more powerful than either could have imagined alone. The power of choice, of change, of seeing beyond what they were to what they could become. And somewhere, on a distant Earth mountain, a simple military bunker stood as a monument to where it all began, with one human who offered tea instead of running, and one hunter who chose to trust instead of feed. The future stretched before them, bright with possibility, ready for whatever evolution would bring next.